Hi friends, welcome to the first video on this channel, The Alchemical Activist, a space where I blend spirituality, philosophy, astrology, travel, art, filmmaking, all the things that make my heart sing to make it accessible and enjoyable for you. My name is Amanda and I am so excited to start this channel. It's been a long time coming. It's been a lot of, okay Amanda, let's do it. I've been so nervous. I've been, going through the motions. Spirit has been talking to me, telling me I need to start. So here I am. I'm so excited, very nervous to be talking to a camera. I'm usually behind the camera. I've spent a few years being a camera assistant and a filmmaker. So I'm really excited to blend all of my interests into one little space, this little online space. And yeah, I'm so excited to generate this beautiful community where we get to talk about all the things that are happening in the world, happening in our own psyches, in our lives. I wanted to start this channel because I've been on my journey for over 7 years now. It's been a lot of ups and downs, awakenings, just rest periods, dark nights of the soul, just so much. But then also at the same time, there's been periods of bliss and integration and living my best life, and then chaos. So I wanted to bring this space to you and create this space to bring in my advice, my perspectives, my thoughts, and to generate a conversation. And also really I wanted to share what has helped me find myself on this journey. I'm still finding myself. I keep going through different spiritual awakenings. There's always something new, and this is a lifelong journey for all of us, and even beyond, in other lifetimes, other dimensions. It is ongoing. So it's so important for us to share how we are all kind of coping and being in this crazy world. And this is my portion of it. This is my contribution to it all. And I'm really excited to share. So the main reasoning behind this channel and the name The Alchemical Activist is because I believe that spirituality and activism are intimately tied. When we think of activism, we usually think of boots on the ground, protesting, rioting, getting the message out there. And although that work is so incredibly important, and as a Black woman, I wouldn't be in this space and being able to do the things that I'm doing to this day without that work, we are seeing and moving towards an earth, a new earth, that really needs us to be connected to our spirit, to our soul. And I believe that that is the true revolution moving forward. So alchemy, which is the practice of transmutation, of change, of growth, of turning pain into power, into positivity, into your biggest and strongest weapon against the systems of oppression, the systems that keep us stuck, the systems that exploit us. When we revolt through our soul and through our spirit, the change is astronomical. And I think that my experiences and my observations of years of being politically active, being a marginalized other, and so my existence on this earth has been to be awakened and to see behind the veil and to work against these systems of oppression like patriarchy, capitalism, colonialism, imperialism, all of these different systems of oppression. When we look to the work of radical others, of Black feminist writers, thinkers, speakers, people who were so outside of the system that their words and their own spiritual revolution really brought forward a lot of change, and also harmony and balance and the ability to live in this world despite constant berating and being pushed down from these systems. So the people who inspire me the most are the people who do that work, the creatives who still write in difficult times. And I think that the state of the world that we're in right now, there's just so much happening. There is so much going on in this world right now. And the tension is getting stronger and stronger. And the fact that we are able to connect to all of these different stories of what's happening through doom scrolling and 24-hour news cycle, we are constantly fed information and knowledge about what is happening in the world. Multiple wars, genocide, exploitation, the climate crisis, recession, all of these things that feel so heavy to grapple with, to deal with, to even have on our person, on our body. And so our spirit, our soul kind of falls to the wayside. And we give up. We feel pessimistic. We feel like things aren't going to change. We feel hopeless. But those feelings are exactly what these systems are built and designed to make us feel like. The concept of alienation in Marxist theory is a great word to think about this. That capitalism in their context, but again, patriarchy, imperialism, colonialism, lots of different systems of oppression that all work for the same goal: to disenfranchise and alienate ourselves from our own selves, our soul, our spirit, but from each other. And as we move forward with this technical revolution, I do like to think about it as a revolution, but we have to reconceptualize how we view it as a revolution. It's not being used, technology right now is not being used in revelatory ways. AI is not a revolution in the majority of ways, but we can reuse these technologies or rethink these technologies in revolutionary ways. But that's a story for another day. I have so many things to talk about, and I do love to ramble. So when these systems keep us disenfranchised, keep us hopeless, keep us pessimistic, you know, feeling that we can't change, things won't change, we're stuck. And we're stuck in cycles, and these systems keep perpetuating and they keep exploiting us, and it just keeps going and going and going. So this is where alchemy and spiritual revolution comes in, because when we alchemize ourselves, when we do the inner work, when we really get to know our shadow, we really get to know ourselves, but then we also get to know these systems, how we interact with these systems, how they have caused us to feel alienated and disenfranchised and away from our communities, away from our friends, away from our families, hyper independence, individualistic. And I'm speaking from a perspective as a girly, a London girly in England, in the West, in the Western world, who doesn't have a really deep connection with my ancestral side in terms of knowledge and the oral tradition, but still kind of developing that spiritual ancestral connection. But speaking in a Western framework, in a Western context, because that's important to preface. And the reason why I brought up technology that can be seen as revelatory is the fact that we can be so connected, like this, for instance. And my goal and my hope for this channel is to find my community, my people, the people who, you know, resonate with what I'm saying and these videos that will be coming out. And to be able to go back into our own communities in our material world and to encourage people to gain their power back, because it is so fulfilling and so powerful to be someone who, especially as a queer Black woman, working class as well, to feel so defeated by these systems for the majority of my life, but then to get to a point where I take back that control, I take back that power, I take back that victimhood, And I say no. I create, I rest, I stay, I be still. I know I'm enough when I'm not productive. I know I'm enough when I am doing nothing, when I am not serving these systems, when I'm not perpetuating these systems, when I radically go away from these systems through the most simplest, most human way possible, to rest, to be still, to be present, to heal. And so what healing looks like in this framework is a radical thing to be doing in this day and age. In this time where we could be chasing material wealth and, you know, trying to become a billionaire, or, you know, all these material things that these systems place to high regard, you know, the nuclear family, success in a material financial sense. You could do that, but your soul, your spirit will yearn for something deeper, and that something deeper is something that can only happen when you do the inner work. So I want to there was a bit of a spiel, but this is the kind of baseline of why this channel exists and what I want to share through this channel. And I want to share, I've got it up on my wall. I want to share an excerpt from a fantastic writer, Jaiya, and I'm just going to read it from from my wall. But the insights from spirituality, when we look to the other, to Eastern traditions, to marginalized groups, and I'm using these words in quotations because these are identities that have been put onto these people, and it's othering. Everything is othering because there's a you and there's an other. But I think the way that we label and use terminology is very important. I'm just still trying to figure out the labeling and terminology I want to use that is understandable and can convey my ideas and thoughts. But I would say, I'll speak from my personal experiences, but I think that my journey, my spirituality journey, has been so long and beautiful. I've been on my journey since 2019, so 7 years. And this past year has been the most transformative in a short period of time. A lot of the other few years has been, and it coincided with like healing through very specific traumas, and so going through therapy and counselling and, you know, doing that, but then still being a person in the world and having to work and go to uni and do a master's and all of these different things. So this past year has been very sort of deeper on the spiritual side of it. And my master's dissertation, I did a master's in visual anthropology, which my background is in anthropology, and is something I'm very interested in despite its treacherous colonial history. And if any of you are interested in hearing more about that, I'd love to talk about it, because yeah, I've written a lot about it, and done a lot of like work, I guess inner work, on my place in anthropology, when it has such a dark history that you still feel the remnants of in modern day anthropology and in educational systems, especially really prestigious ones that have deep roots to that history. But that is a story for another day. Oh God, yeah. But through that journey, I found Black feminist anthropology and really found myself through that work And so then my master's dissertation was looking at how Black women, including trans and non-binary people, how they heal and how they use spirituality and embodiment practices to heal within these systems, within systems that are not built or designed to accommodate for Black people. It was such a fun project to do, and it was really transformative because, again, this was the past year that I've done it, and I was going through a really deep spiritual awakening process. And so there was a symbiotic relationship between my own processes and then the work that was coming out on my research and my findings. What I really took away from that experience was how spirituality is used as a way to reckon with these systems, and how it is a form of activism. And it's a form of activism because these systems, they want us so disconnected from our spirit and from ourselves. And so I think that it's so important to look to the works of marginalized others who have spent so much of their lives and their ancestral lives oppressed, yet still find joy, still find creativity and play and beauty and magic despite those odds. And I think it's so important to not forget those voices when we talk about spirituality, especially in a Western context. And so back to, what I wanted to say. So this passage that really brings me home to myself, hence why it is up on this wall, and it was a guiding principle throughout my research. The first revolution is to rest. The second revolution is to call upon your inspiring spirit and ancestors. The third is to reckon with your identity and ideas. Fourth, touch your wounds. Fifth, roar out your pain. Cry, laugh, destroy your composure. Fall into a ceremony of surrender and entropy. Once you have dissolve the order of your revolution steps. Keep stepping, move in circles, gather your people, talk your stories, create, create, create. Help each other let go of attachments. Hold each other up when fear comes for you.
Fuck Donald Trump, baby. Fuck Donald Trump.
Endure many deaths. Rejoice many births. Stay in the soil, planting. Harvest in season. Feast often, passionately. Hold at your center the children, the oracles, elders, the eternals, ancestors. Hold love. It's such a wonderful passage. And I think that is, exactly where I want to leave this video for today. So thank you for tuning in. I'm so excited to start this space, create this space to share. I have pages and pages and pages and pages in my little notebook of so many ideas and so many videos that I want to make and create. And so let me know in the comments if you resonated with anything that has been shared today, if you have anything that you want to share and add or comment on or feedback on, whatnot. I would love to hear from you. And thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.